Oh hiya, welcome to Game Creation, and this is the last video we're going to do of the week. Obviously it's Friday, on scrolling. So we've had a kind of week on the window and scrolling, and this really is quite a more focused video on how we can have more control. There's an aspect of the coding we did yesterday that we actually don't have that much control, and I don't like not having control. And I'm going to just elaborate on that, and we're not necessarily going to do anything with it. Maybe we will, I don't know. But we're just going to see what I'm talking about, and if you want kind of advanced configurations, and this is a really useful video. Remember, this tutorial is not for an absolute beginner. I wouldn't be talking about creating tiles through nested fast loops for an absolute beginner. This is for people who have been using the product Clickteam Fusion for a while, but just maybe want to pick up a few more tips. And hopefully, please let me know if you've seen or thought of any tips you want to give me for this, because I'm always enthusiastic to hear people and their suggestions. So please do so in the comments below. Let's move to the screen. So this is the file we've been using all week. In fact, the file we've been using for the last 4 weeks. And what it does is it's a nice little scrolling game. And we've changed the tile to 32. But I want to highlight something here, okay? And you might have noticed this. This here is the center of our screen, this line here. This player is not in the center of the screen. Well, that's kind of annoying. Well, you'd think that it was a bug or something. It's not. We've set the action point of our player to the top left. So let's prove this further by moving to the right. I wish I'd made this guy a bit quicker. That line there is the center of the screen, and yet the action point is the top left. So everything we do revolving around this player is going to happen from the top left. There's 2 ways we can sort this out. We can move the action point to the bottom middle, which is very, very common on like RPGs and platformers and stuff, because the action, the feet are on the ground there, so that's where you want most things. It does get complicated because then you've got half here and half there, and I find using top left and just understanding I've used top left for everything. And it used, as I said before, it used to be what Clickteam defaulted to, and then they moved the action point to the middle. So Clickteam, I think, want you to have the action point in the middle, but it's each to their preference. As long as you're consistent and as long as you know what you've used for the action point, it doesn't actually matter. Unless you're using Clickteam's default stuff, which we did last video, and I'm going to show you which bit we used. And I clicked on, so that there is the global event editor. I want just the event editor. I'm not used to that being there. Okay, this bit here is what I don't like. If I edit that, all that allows you to do is either pick a position that you want the screen to scroll to, so I could just always have it down here if I wanted to, or have it relative to the player. So I can actually have it down here compared to the player. So something that I could do, I suppose, is have it like right here compared to the player. And the player's 64, so I want 32 by 32, and I could have edited it up there to make it more precise. If I click OK and run it now, so let's move down. So that line there is our center line. Well, that works perfectly. And let's move to the right. Take a while. There we are. And that there is our center line. So actually that's worked perfectly. That's brilliant. Job sorted. I still don't like the lack of control I have on it. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to click on the left hand side. I'm going to press Ctrl and C and Ctrl V to duplicate this one. Then I'm going to make this one inactive. Remember, that just stores that line of code in case we need it. In case I muck up here and I go, oh God, I wish I had the old code back. Don't get in the habit of using that too much. You don't want code which is full of this, because this just uses up space. So I always have a mental kind of expiry date on this. I try and do what I want to do down here, and if it hasn't worked, then I activate that and delete all the new code. If it works perfectly, I always delete the old code. You don't want a whole load of dead code kicking about, and that's true for all programmers. And they use something called Git and stuff like that to mean that they don't need to do that. They just move back in time with their code. It's really, really cool. Anyway, I'm moving on a tangent. So I want to delete that. And what I want to do is, instead of just being, I could call it lazy, being beginner and saying, yeah, I just want that. And that's quick and it's nice. These two here are way more powerful. And these are really more powerful because it allows you to use a calculation. This does not allow you to use any calculations. You either have it in a fixed position or you have it in a position relative to something. These here you can use calculations for. So I'm going to click on that, and it's just a big calculator here. So what I wanted to do is the X position. So we have the X coordinate of the left edge. Now I might change the hotspot down the line. So if I say X coordinate, that will be the X coordinate of the hotspot or the action spot, whatever it's called, which I might change down the line. So I always try and use X coordinate of left edge, because if I move that action point, whatever it's called, it's not going to affect it. And we want to, at the moment, I don't mind writing add 32, but again, I might change the size of the player down the line. So what I could do is add the width of the player divided by 2. There we go. If I copy all of that, and what I want to do is center display, so scrolling vertical, paste that in, but instead of X left, we want the Y top, and instead of the object width, we want the object height. Simple as that. And let's run the application. Hopefully it's the same. Oh, moment of truth. There we go. And that's the horizontal line there, so that's perfect. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. So that player's exactly in the middle. Don't forget, there is bits down here. I've just hidden them because to hide my start menu, but on my screen it has loaded. Perfect. So now I've got a lot more control over that, so I'm going to delete that now because I don't need that anymore. I've got a lot more control over that, so if I want to fine tune it, or I want that to change under certain circumstances, and it's a lot easier to see how that's calculated rather than, so for instance, when I had it before, if I changed the size of the character, it was always going to move down 32 and right 32 from the action point. But if I move the action point or change the size of it, it's not flexible at all. This one, it doesn't matter what I do to the character. In fact, let's try it out. Always like trying it out. Now, what I'm going to do is save, because I want to undo this. I don't actually want this to be, so we have 128, 128, there we are, big character, love it. Big character, and the scoring's fine. That's the center line there. That's the center line there, so that's perfect. And that's the center line there. So I can just, I'm so like, I can just do whatever I want. It's perfect. So I press Control and C, because I don't actually, twice, because I don't actually want to change that. But it's versatile now, which is always good with programming. If you've noticed anything I've done and you think you can improve it, or you've got a different way, or actually you look at this project as a whole and think, oh, I wish you went into something, please tell me what that something is in the comments below. It's always interesting to read comments. And yeah, I look forward to next week. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to see more from us, please click subscribe. We release videos every single weekday at 7 PM UK time. Thank you.